Hi Scorpios, and welcome to your November 2016 General Tarot Forecast. And first off, happy birthday to all of you Scorpios out there. It is Scorpio's time of the year. The sun went into Scorpio on October 23rd, and it will be there until November 22nd. So we are currently during that time of the year where everything's kind of dying away with the fall season and making room for new growth. And that is the exact epitome of Scorpio energy. So, if this reading really resonates with the Scorpios out there, you guys can check out my shop linked below. And I'm also doing something new each month for each zodiac sign when it is that sign's birth month. When the sun is in that sign, I am offering an extended version of the reading. So that will also be linked below in the description box. So you guys can check out the link and go over to my website and you can see an extended version of this to get more insight. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at your spread. First of all, you guys have 3 major arcana cards, and I'm not surprised because it's y'all's time of the year. Those major arcana cards are the High Priestess, the Wheel of Fortune, and Judgment, which is just so interesting because the High Priestess and Judgment are such scorpionic cards to begin with. So anyway, there's a lot of abundance headed towards the Scorpio and the Scorpios out there, and that's just such great news because it's been difficult. It's been kind of a trying year for a lot of Scorpios. 2015 and 2016 have been very transitional, transformational time for a lot of Scorpios, and overcoming some of the setbacks. You know, Saturn was in Scorpio from 2014 to early 2014 to late 2015, I believe. And when Saturn was in Scorpio, it really set a lot of obstacles, established a lot of limitations. So it kind of left Scorpios in a phase where they had to rise from the ashes. They kind of experienced a lot of setbacks. And it really looks like with the sun now coming into Scorpio, after having Saturn and Mars go retrograde in Scorpio for the first time, the sun being there for the first time, it looks like the Scorpios are going to really get kind of an energy deposit from the sun. It looks like there's going to be more abundance to come, and it looks like there's going to really be a process of rebirth where Scorpios find the ability to rise from the ashes. Because Judgment is at the bottom of the entire issue, and Judgment is all about rebirth, coming into your own, kind of experiencing a process that feels deadly, a process that kind of feels like a death of sorts. But the beauty of that is you are then, like when one door closes, another one opens. That's the epitome of Judgment energy. So starting off the month, or the really strongest initial energy going into November is that 9 of Cups energy. So there's going to be an aspect of luck that the Scorpios can use in November. You've got to be careful though. Make sure that you're not completely relying on luck. Make sure that you have assumed and thought ahead to any potential roadblocks, because this should be something that Scorpios are used to by now with, like I said, having had Saturn and Mars retrograde in their sign. So don't assume that just because things are getting easier that you're completely out of the water. There are still some trials or some things that might pop up, although I generally consider the 9 of Cups to be really good energy. The only negative side for me with the 9 of Cups is when you really establish that energy in your life, when you know it's there, it can kind of be easy to rest on your laurels. It can be easy to assume that everything will fall into place because it's kind of in that mode. Just make sure that you're prepared for anything to potentially go wrong. I don't see any bad luck. I don't see unexpected problems, but if something doesn't seem stable to you, make sure that you're addressing that. Make sure that you have thought about, anything that could potentially have kind of grown out of use for you. Okay, and y'all have the Ace of Pentacles as well, and I think this is probably just because it's Scorpio's birthday, so you could be getting small sums of money, you could be getting gifts, The universe is rewarding the Scorpios who have established good karma in their lives. There will be, new things coming into your life, things that are just kind of handed to you on a silver platter, which will be really nice for November. And I see a lot of Scorpios using their gifts or the money that they receive in very productive ways, and that's going to be really good. Now's a good time to pay off any debt. Now is a good time to establish savings. You've got the Knight of Pentacles, and there are a few different ways I'm going to interpret that. But firstly, I just want to say it's great to get those debts paid off, and it's great to save. Like, kind of be aggressive towards that. Like, if you have abundance, make sure that you're not just spending it really haphazardly. Make sure that you kind of maybe pay some bills in advance. That would be a really good thing to do, so you don't have to worry. With this small sum of money that you get, pay some bills in advance if you can, so that with the coming months, something about February, maybe if you can pay some certain things until February, you'll really be able to relax and go within and be able to experience this process of rebirth without having so many financial dilemmas hanging over your head, because it's really hard to transform when you're buried in debt or when you don't have any kind of security blanket financially. So it would be really good for the Scorpios to just make that a non-issue, so that you can experience emotional transformation, so that you can experience emotional rebirth without financial problems. And yeah, there's just a general abundance of the Pentacles in y'all's spread. You've got the Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, and Queen of Pentacles. So that's really, like, that. It's going to be very easy in November to survive, and that makes me so happy for you guys. There could be an aspect of being spendthrift, though, so just be careful, because the Pentacles suit, they tend to they receive money, but they also spend money. Everything is very money centric. So just be careful that you're not being extremely spendthrift in November, because it might be easy given that it's your birthday. You may want to reward yourself, and that's great, and you're gonna get rewarded. You're gonna get, it looks like, a lot of abundance and excess during November. So kind of be able to decide when it's enough. Be able to decide, like, oh, I've gotten so many gifts from so many different people. Maybe this money gift that I got, maybe I should save that or put that towards bills, or or maybe I should just get myself this gift instead of just getting every single thing that I want. That would be a good idea for November. Also, you guys have the Wheel of Fortune. So and it's upright, so that's great. So just remember the saying, easy come, easy go. If some nice abundances are really coming into your life kind of with the snap of the finger, remember that karmically, if you don't work for it, you don't have to work very hard to make it go away either. So again, keep that in mind. Okay, getting past the idea of money and finances, so much self-understanding is going to happen for the Scorpios in November. You've got the High Priestess. I feel like a lot of Scorpios became disconnected from this archetype for a while. I can actually tell you guys an interesting story. I'm a Scorpio myself, and I actually recently, from a different deck, found the High Priestess card in my yard. I'd put it outside. I had put my deck outside just, to kind of be in the elements for a while, and for a night. And about a month after I'd done this, I walked out into my yard and I found the High Priestess laying in the yard, that card. And of course it was all weathered and damaged, and I took that as a sign from the universe that I had really become disconnected from myself, that I'd really potentially denied kind of my own authenticity. And it makes me really happy to see that this fresh, pristine, non-weather damaged High Priestess card has popped up in Scorpio's reading. So I take that as a sign that, we're really taking a chance to reestablish the relationship with the self. We're taking the opportunity to almost organize our motivations, organize our reserve, and organize how we really react in tense moments. And that's going to be so rewarding. I honestly see any financial gains that we're getting as rewards to karmic progress that we've made, to the intentions that we set towards others. I think that a lot of Scorpios will find themselves reassessing their intentions, thinking twice about, the energy that they put out towards other people, towards people that have wronged them in the past, or towards people that haven't. You might be reassessing your judgments towards other people. You might be thinking, was that fair? If yes, if no, etc. There's just a lot of thought on the inside. There's a lot of interior activity happening for Scorpios in November. One downside of this is some people could find you kind of cold in November. Watch out for that. To the people who are important to you, to family members, be careful that you're not coming off cold and uncaring, because since you're doing all this work at an introverted level, even if you feel like you're making leaps and bounds of progress and you're really treating yourself better, if there's not a balance of also exterior work, you're going to come off in a not so nice way to other people, just uncaring, aloof, and potentially cold. So beware of that. That's what I think whenever I see the High Priestess and Judgment together, just so you guys know, for any of you tarot enthusiasts out there. When I see Judgment and the High Priestess in the same reading, I think this person is coming off very cold to the people around them because they're so internally concerned. There's so much work happening, and these people are almost like icy and glacially. I almost want to say, I just kind of made up that word, I guess. But very much kind of the whole archetype of the tip of the iceberg, cold water, and aloof is how I feel about Judgment and the High Priestess together. Also, a lot of Scorpios are making changes to their lifestyle. That's what I always think about the Queen of Pentacles whenever I see it. You're maybe starting a cleanse, you're detoxing, you're changing up your diet, you're maybe trying to eat more organic, maybe even some Scorpios might be thinking about a vegan type of lifestyle. That's possible. You might be spending more money on the food that you eat. You might be trying to organize more thoroughly your routine as it relates to eating, exercising. Now would be a really good time to go to a spa. Maybe that would be a really good thing for some Scorpios to do in November. Go to a spa, maybe go to a sauna, something that involves like an exfoliation or involves like sweating out your toxins, like being in a sauna, because there's a coldness too. There's something very cold about Scorpios right now. Like, there's maybe an imbalance of the water versus fire element, and you're kind of extinguishing your fire right now. That's potentially happening for Scorpios. So, being like, going to a spa and maybe going into a like hot spring, that would be so healing for the Scorpios out there. Like, being in a sauna, going into a hot spring, even hot tubbing, and just being alone with yourself or in the company of people that are very close to you. And any Scorpio will know exactly what I'm talking about. Being in the company of your the people that you keep close to you and you keep dear to you, and just allowing the pain and the suffering and the difficulty that has accumulated to then sweat out of your pores, to kind of be burnt out by the hot water. That's going to be an amazingly healing thing for Scorpios to do in November. Also, let's see what else we've got here. A lot of Scorpios have built up a good foundation and a good team of loyal people around them. There was someone in a lot of Scorpios' lives who very much betrayed them, I think. And this happened like somewhat recently for a lot of Scorpios, and it really made a lot of Scorpios reassess, who they're being loyal to, because it's pointless, because Scorpio is one of the most loyal signs of the zodiac. So you were loyal to this person and they kind of maybe backstabbed you. That I see that as something that Scorpios are coping with in November, or have been coping with for a while. And now with that 9 of Cups, it's like you've really brought new people into your life, or transformed relationships from the past into relationships and people that will back you, people who will be loyal to you, people who are there through thick and thin. And it's like you can sit and you can know that if you needed them, that they would be there for you. And that's what you're searching for in November too. There could be a lot of Scorpios searching for that, trying to get past superficial relationships and trying to have that X-ray vision and know, okay, is it going to be like this permanently? Like, does this person who's come into my life, even if they seem like they'd be there for me right now, is there something about that that's going to change that? Like, because Scorpios are tired of fair weather friends. That's what I'm getting. Someone who's really close to me, one of my favorite cousins, actually told me that when we were talking about the whole concept of fair weather friends, you know, friends who are there when it's good and who seem so loyal and seem so endearing when it's convenient and when the relationship is good. But then, you know, when they're struggling in their life, or when they're, you know, when things aren't great for them, you know, don't go knocking on their door when your world turns upside down, because they won't be there. And we really had an amazing dialogue about that. She's a Virgo, by the way, so we were kind of like a Scorpio and a Virgo just getting together and talking about our experience with people, you know, who weren't loyal and who weren't there through thick and thin. And, you know, Scorpios are trying to see through that. They're really looking back on relationships in the past and seeing what aspects about that person's personality, who was such a fair weather friend, how could I have known sooner, before I really put myself on the line for them, and then they kind of stabbed me in the back when I needed that in return? How could I have known sooner? So, and you know, a lot of Scorpios are trying to make sure that they don't turn into that too. You know, we're looking within and we're thinking like, have I been that way? Have I done that to somebody else? Like, why did I experience that? If karma or the universe put me through that situation where I felt such strong betrayal, did I deserve that? Like, was there something that I did to somebody else that put me in a situation where I needed to experience that, where it was like necessary for the universe to teach that to me? And this is great. This is great for November. But try not to overanalyze yourself. Try not to be overly harsh with yourself, because you're gonna know. Like, trying to not find false blame in yourself to make what these people did okay. Because if it really hurt, if it was awful in the moment, you know, there probably was. It's not all sunshine and rainbows for these people that were hurtful, you know. Okay, so also for a few amount of Scorpios out there could be a lot of work that needs to be done with a career. There could be a lot of busyness taking over. I'm just getting that from the Knight of Pentacles. It's not too strong. I think that just kind of how I interpreted that was using this abundance that you receive in November and using that for secure and stable purposes. But for some Scorpios, you're going to be very busy in a career, and you're also going to be able to make a lot of money from that too. And it also says to me that maybe moving on into the future towards late November, after we kind of have this time to rest, reflect, and go within, it's time after that to really focus on the outer world. Because Scorpios can get really inner obsessed. Like, they can be a little bit reclusive. And I see that as a potential for November. You may want to really just be out of the spotlight, out of the public for a while. And that's great. But make sure you don't kind of step into that negative state of solitude where it becomes a little bit unhealthy. Like, get this journaling done, write things down, come to some new conclusions. Then it's time to wrap it up, and it's time to start accomplishing again on the material world. It's time to get back out. It's time to accomplish some goals. And it's time, you know what it's time for Scorpios to do? It's time to make a goal and an aspiration, and it's time to fill it in. It's time to do it. It's time to accomplish again. Because a lot of Scorpios have been very much regressing in a kind of a regressive state where they kind of go backwards, where they felt like maybe a year ago they were really making progress, they were really moving forward with something, and then kind of a very purging and cleansing energy took them over and kind of took them back a stage. Like, the universe kind of just got real, you know what I mean? So, and after us Scorpios get our, you know, energy deposit from the sun being in Scorpio, after we regain our power as the zodiac sign of Scorpio, it's time to do that reflection, use some of that power to come to a better self-understanding, and then it's time to close that journal for a little while. And I mean that kind of hypothetically. It's always good to journal, but it's time to get back on the outer world and, you know, get some stuff done, get some accomplishments going, and set out for some nice long-term goals, because there's going to be so much energy, there's going to be so much power, And I don't mean ego power. I don't mean that kind of, yes, I'm powerful feeling. Maybe for some Scorpios, it's possible. But the kind of power that I mean is the ability to manifest, the ability to exist, and the ability to not completely come crashing down when everything doesn't just completely go your way. That's the kind of power that Scorpios are going to come out of November with. And that's a power to watch out for. You know, Scorpios are a very karmic sign. You know, karma, Pluto and Mars are Scorpio's ruling planets. And Pluto's very karmic. So wherever a Scorpio goes, they will have a karmic impact on the people around them. And you're really going to walk out of November and walk into, you know, the rest of the year and the beginning of 2017 creating karmic experiences for other people. And, you know, Scorpios really like to be in that place. They really like to go into other people's lives and create a transformation, or at least be the catalyst for transformation, and oftentimes they are. It's going to be a great November, guys. Lots of abundance, lots of unexpected gifts, self-reflection, and then the ability to powerfully move forward, and the ability to finally step back into the material world, step back into the outside world, help other people, and accomplish long-term set goals. It's been an amazing reading, Scorpios. If you would like to see the extended version, it's actually a completely separate reading, but I kind of connect them together. You can check out the link right below in the description box. Likewise, you can check the top right corner of this video for that circle with the eye in the middle, and you can click that, and there will be a list of other videos which are applicable. Last month's reading, there will be a link to my shop, a link to y'all's extended reading, and, you know, anything else that I find useful I put in there. I love the card system on YouTube. I've been trying to use it more. I think that it's really handy. Okay, guys, good luck, and I really hope that November's amazing, and happy birthday.